Welcome to our live guitar hangout today. How's everybody doing? We got a bunch of people in the chat already. I'm Lee from Play Guitar Podcast, and this is, if you're new here, this is something that we do every weekend. We have members of the community get together. We have some different shows throughout the weekend, every Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. And we're going to be having a great time today. I've got a very special guest, a good friend of mine that has become quite a myth in the academy. Lately, Scooter has come up time and time again. And so we are going to have a great time with Scott Pallot. Hey, Scott, how you doing today?
I'm doing very well, Lee, and I just want to let everyone out there know that I am very, very well known in my house, right here.
That house there.
Right here.
Right there. That's right here. We have let's see here. We have some people from let's see what we got. We've got Kevin. Kevin says, "Hey, String Slayers." Phil Els, "Hey guys, greeting from Germany." Hi, Phil. Welcome to the show, man. Thank you very much. Let's see here. Hal's here. And Evan is here. And let's see, David Reed. We got people from all over the country and all over the world hanging out today. We're going live today. If you haven't, we most of the times we go live just on YouTube, but today we're also on Facebook. We're in the group, our Academy, our Play Guitar Facebook group, and also I put it on my personal page too. So because some of those people on the personal page may have seen Scott hanging out with his smiling face today. So we're going to talk about acoustic stuff today, acoustic guitars. And please feel free to put your questions in the chat. We're going to talk a little bit about the Scott's history with the acoustic guitar all the way back. And then we're going to talk about some of the things about playing a solo gig, some of the gear that you have to deal with, and I'm dealing with delightful, wonderful people as well in those gigs too. So all the hardships and fun things that we have that you would go through in a solo acoustic gig. Also, we're featuring the Pest Killer 2000. We brought the Pest Killer 2000 back here. So if we're lucky, I did leave the door open a little bit today just so we could get some gnats to come in here. So if we're lucky, it may go off. You'd never know. It could go off at any time. So I'm going to check the comments here again before we get started. Let's see here. Evan says, "Oh snap, we've got the Pest Zapper 2000." That's right. That's right.
That's going to be the main star this afternoon.
That's right. We've got, and look, here it is. Brennan says, "So awesome. We have the Bug Zapper, Lee, and Scott. Perfect stuff." So the Bug Zapper gets first billing there. So that's awesome. And Chris Ward says, "Scooter, thumbs up with the sunglasses smiley face there." All right. So, and my shirt, the tie-dyed awesome shirt. Yes, we're working our way through these shirts. Like I said, everyone pay special attention to the shirts because we're gonna pick one or two to do a little to make available, and you guys are going to be the ones that are helping us out with the choice for that. So this one's really nice too. We're going to be doing that this week as well. Okay, so let's go on and get into the show. So Scott, I've known you forever, but I don't know how you started playing acoustic guitar. I never heard that story. Is there a story behind it?
Well, there is a little story, I guess. I was very young, considering how old I am today. So it's been a long time ago. My brother played guitar, and my brother was good at everything that he did.
Here you go. We're freezing just a little bit. He'll be back in just a second. I think he's talking about his brother Flip, if I'm not mistaken. And we'll just wait a second for Scott to come back here. Let's see here. well, we'll give him a second there. Like I said, this is new platform we have here. This is StreamYard, and I went ahead. We tried it out yesterday. I went ahead and signed up for it today. So we don't have the StreamYard. We have our own logo there. And let's see here. I think Scott's starting to come back. I saw some movement there. Oh, I think we're gonna restart and have him do that. So a little bit about Scott. Scott's been playing acoustic. There we go. There we go. We're back. So where we were at is your brother played guitar and he was pretty much good at everything. That's where we left off.
Yeah, he ended up his life being a sport fisherman and a hunter. And so anyway, when I was little, and he bought me my first guitar, and I used to go in the bathroom because it echoed in there, and I knew one chord. He taught me one chord, and I mean, I could be in there forever in that it would echo so good. And I'd put the guitar up against, I'd sit on the toilet, but I'd set the guitar butt end up against the sink basin, and it made the guitar sound even bigger, you know. Yeah, and I'd play that one chord, and it was an amazing chord. I mean, I don't want to get real Trump about this, but it was a most amazing chord you ever want to see.
It was huge.
And it was just the biggest chord. And I would play songs like John Henry, songs that I could make into one chord, which was any song. I could make any song. Inagata Davida was one chord. So that's the way it started.
So this is Flip, who got you started.
Yes.
And Scott and I had a very nice thing that we did together. We got to do Flip is a pro fisher. What's his he's not just fly. He's a total fisherman, right? What's his specialty?
Hunter, fisherman, anything that has to do with the outdoors is his thing.
So. He had a show on, I think it was, did it move to OLN? Is that what it was when we did that for him? I know it had.
Yes, it was ESPN. He had the longest running, most successful fishing show on ESPN, even still to date. It was on for 16 years. It was called Walker's Cay Chronicles. And I helped my cousin do the music for that. And then he had one after that, American Sportsman or something. And then you and I did some things when he was on a airboat, and we did some swamp kind of music, and we got swampy with it.
Yes, that was fun, man. That was a
very much
a good memory. Good memory. So we got to do a little music for him. Okay, so we've got Little Scooter. Flip puts the guitar in your hand, puts you in the bathroom, and that's all she wrote right there. Right?
And the rest is history. Here it is, 72 years later, you know, and I'm still going to the bathroom. So.
That's right. That's good. With the guitar, right? I know. Yeah, that's don't want to do that. You want to keep those two things just separate. This is already going straight downhill.
Yeah, I could tell. I'm going to be crying before this hour ends.
We're trying to be very serious, but it's not lasting. I have a feeling. So, okay, all right. So we get you in the bathroom. Now you're out of the bathroom, and you're playing gigs.
Out of the closet, and I'm playing gigs. Let's see. My first gig I remember, I think I was just like a fill-in kind of standby music for a group that was very well known in the Miami area. And they had their own club and everything. And I would just, in between their acts, they were called the Rhodes Brothers. They never made it real big, but they were big in Miami at that time. And I mean, I was on cloud nine. I mean, that was like big time for me.
Yeah.
And it started there, and little gigs, there were little coffee houses in Miami, and you know, anywhere I could. I tried to sit in. I ended up moving later as I got a little older to Tennessee, outside of Nashville, and that just, opened up an incredible avenue to get into music for me.
Yes, yes. And the next stage was being a children's artist.
Right.
And
Right.
that, so we're at Nashville right now. So that would be, is that around the same time when that was happening? Okay. Uh okay, so we're just gonna wait a second. He'll be right back. And just there we go. He's back. Okay. Oh, one more second here. So let's see here. Let's get some questions lined up for Scott here. As he comes back into that. Chris just wants to know, what's Scooter's guitar of choice and why does he go for acoustic over electric? So that one would be good. I've got a bunch of questions myself too. Okay, Scooter's back now. All right. Okay, so we're at Nashville and we're starting to talk about the children's artist, and
Um,
specifically that first album too.
well, it actually started with my cousin, Jim, who produced it. He also did the production on my brother's TV show, Walker's K, the music. And he decided, we were talking to do a children's music thing, and he produced my albums. It didn't. When I met him, I had no idea who he was. I just was told my dad to come down and to his house, meet my cousin. I found out that he was just an incredible musician. He's now with Reba McEntire, Faith Hill. He's played with everybody. Anyway, so he's in Nashville and still has a studio and does production there. And he produced my first two children's albums that, I'm blessed to say they were Grammy nominated, both albums. They've won Parents' Choice Awards, American Library Awards and honors. They've done quite well as Scooter. And that's where I got the name Scooter. I was named after my dog at the time.
That's okay. And I would say that they were also well heard albums in my household as my daughter was growing up as well. So they were played over and over again, which if any of you have young kids, I highly recommend it. They're wonderful. And it's real music. It's not squeaky kid music, but it's music that you know what I mean. It's not Dora the Explorer squeaky kind of stuff. But it has helped my daughter really find an appreciation for music too early on. So
it's funny that you say that, because when Jimmy and I put the album together, we pictured parents driving from, let's say, here to Disney World, having to listen to children's music all the way to Disney World. So we did it in a way that parents could enjoy the music too. So it's not crazy chipmunk stuff.
That's right. Broccoli and chocolate. That's the one that comes to mind at the moment, which perfect there. Okay, and then so we're doing the children's stuff, but you're still doing gigs too, right? You're still doing solo. I know you had a club for a while, and I've seen the pictures. You had a band of guys that you were playing with around the club days too in Nashville.
Yes, a group at that time was called Fresh Out, and we got very well known in the Middle Georgia area, and had a strong small following, and we just loved playing. And I kept the adult side there, and then I'd escape to Nashville to my cousin's studio to do the children's stuff, and then I started touring, doing the children's music as well.
Awesome. And so I know that then this kind of, after all this happens, and and your folks were in Middle Georgia, and that's kind of where we all got to meet. And owned a music store and playing gigs and playing bands, and then it's all just too much fun after that point. So, okay,
if I had to change something, I wouldn't, because it's been a wonderful ride.
Yeah, we've been very serious right now. We've been trying to be, and I think I'm going to let up on that now. So, okay.
Good. Thank God.
All right, we're done with that. Okay, that's the fun stuff. So, how's the pandemic gigs going? You got the dogs, right?
Well, I've done a few songs in my garage, the pandemic tunes, and I've been taking requests. I put them on Facebook, and I haven't really done a gig since, I guess, the beginning of March, because I would go once a month and stay for a week in Jekyll Island, St. Simon area.
Right.
And
all right, we'll just give it a second. Here we go.
I miss it.
Yeah.
Anyway, I miss it very, very much. So I haven't done anything, and I think our next gig is this month, August 29th, in Forsyth at Fox City Brewery.
Yeah, I know, and I know George, and I'm sure it's going to be that's going to be a really cool venue, brand new venue, and we've got some. Let's go ahead and start some questions here. This is from Chris Ward, and he says, "What's Scooter's guitar of choice, and why does he go for acoustic over electric?"
Well, I don't have a particular guitar of choice other than an acoustic. There are so many today. There are so many good guitars. It's like you strived to be able to afford a Martin or a Gibson. They were the real big ticket numbers back then. And then there are so many boutique makers now. And then you have then came the Japanese wave, and then Korean guitars, Indonesian guitars, and these people are so talented at taking a really good guitar like a Martin that people want. They take it apart, they look at it, they computerize it, and they take the measurements on it, and they figure out what will vibrate the top more, and the computer tells them to do this and that, and then they put the time in building it, and you can buy a guitar for under $300 or even less, I don't know, these days, but it's really a very remarkably well-made and sounding guitar.
So I know that you have, the ones I've seen you play are the Larave's and some Martins, if I'm correct.
I had built many years ago when I had the music store. We were a Larave dealer, and it's a little different. All of my guitars, every one of my guitars, they're all parlor size, double aughts, single aughts, very small, very comfortable small guitars. A classical, I do own a couple of classicals, and they're even bigger than my parlors, but I like a wide 2-inch neck because I have really big hands, really big hands.
Right.
And the 2-inch neck is very comfortable, gives you a lot of room to make all the mistakes that I make. So, but I also own a Blue Ridge. I own I own different guitars. I own Breedlove and a lot of different guitars, but I don't know necessarily that I have. My favorite guitar, I'll tell you this, is a Washburn I bought on tour in New York many years ago. And it turned out to be an awful guitar. And I took it to a good friend of mine who's a luthier here in Georgia. He sanded it down. It had enough lacquer on it to kill a horse. And then he did some magical things to it. So it was a Washburn. It's a parlor, and now he's done so many things to it that it's been Frankensteined, and it's probably my favorite guitar.
Do you play that out at all, or is that a home guitar?
I play it out, yes.
Okay.
I don't play it like on the islands when I'm in the sun outside in the heat. I don't play it there, but I do play it inside because it's been sanded down so thin that I had to put a bridge doctor in it in order to stop the top from cracking or anything.
David Reed says, you know what they say about big hands, big gloves, right?
Is that an OJ? Is that an OJ thing?
Does it fit? Does the glove fit? Hal is asking, does Scooter prefer pick or finger style?
Wow. I actually I have my nails done at a salon, and they put on acrylic nails. I used to do it myself, and I probably am going to do it here now that I can't go to salons. But I used to use ping pong balls, and I'd cut them and shape them, and then I'd super glue them on, and then I'd super glue them under my nail a little bit, and then fill in with acrylic stuff that you put in powder and stuff you fill in. And I do love the acrylics because it allows me to do a lot of finger picking. And I hate using finger picks. They never have worked well for me. And for years I used a flat pick, and then I started using acrylic nails for my finger picking, and I stopped using a flat pick. I haven't used a flat pick in probably 6 years, 7 years now, and I've used acrylic nails. And I had to recently, because I don't go to a salon anymore, I had to relearn how to use a flat pick. So I've been using a flat pick here recently, but I prefer finger picking, yes.
Do you use it when you do use a flat pick? Are you using a heavy flat pick, or you use something lighter?
Thin, probably 60 millimeter. And when I use my finger to, I don't know if you can see, but I'll hold this finger like a pick, my index finger, and with the acrylic nail, I'll use it like a flat pick on some song. And but then I have the ability to just use it open as well.
Yeah, when I was in at music school, I was in jazz, but I had a lot of friends who were in the classical side, and they were all using the ping pong balls as well, cutting them up and shaping them. And it was always a joke that you get a bunch of classical guitars together, a ping pong game could bust out at any moment. But I always thought that was interesting. I really thought that was interesting. And they say the tone is really, the tone that they got from that material, the ping pong ball material, was really wonderful. So
it livens things up a bit. The acrylics are a little thicker than the ping pong ball, so it is a little different sound, a little different attack. And I'm not trying to get into your area there, but James Taylor on a couple of videos, it's not like he does lessons, but right. He uses these fiberglass silk things that's kind of like the ping pong balls and in that kind of area. So there's been a lot of different things over the years that people use. And the acrylic nails, I mean, they're like iron. When you get them put on there, it's like I could kill somebody with them. It's like kung fu stuff.
5-finger death, right?
Yeah.
So
you don't want to pick your nose at night because you could kill yourself.
You put the little thimbles on your fingers before you go to sleep for safety.
little nail guards.
That's right. So I just want to talk a little bit about Scooter's sound. Okay, so we're talking acoustic guitar, and if most of you, I'm assuming the people here may have not have heard Scooter play yet. And Scooter does not have a small acoustic guitar in the corner of the room sound. Am I correct? It's huge.
My guitars, everyone say they sound like elephants.
Right.
It's big,
So
very big.
we're talking massive. This is Scooter's guitars sound. You have there's really no need for a bass player when Scooter's around.
Yeah.
Big low end, but at the same time, when you hear other people try to get that kind of all-in-one, orchestra sound from a single acoustic guitar, a lot of times they have a fight in the mids where the whatever processing that they use to accentuate the low end fights with the actual low end on your guitar. And that is something that I think separates Scott from everyone else is really your ear, and also Scott's done a lot of help for me when I was doing each of our levels. We would have a recital at the end of them, and Scott was very nice to come and help me out with sound with those things. So Scott has a really wonderful ear for what works and what doesn't, and there's no room for things that don't work. So we want to talk a little bit. This is coming up because Hal asked, Scooter, do you use any effects with your acoustic, like reverb, chorus, etc.? I'm actually thinking pickups and PAs as well, because all of those things work together for the final product. And not for you to give any of your secrets away, but just maybe a general overview of how you envision a room filling acoustic guitar sound, and how that's different from what you would normally hear someone who's just strumming a guitar.
I mean, I have no trade secrets, and I'm glad to tell you exactly what I do and how I get what I get, and I owe it all, and I don't want to hurt anyone's feelings. There are so many kinds of pickups and CNC and LR bags and all these wonderful equipment that's out there. I am a tried and true. I'll never use anything but Fishman. Larry Fishman has made a true believer out of me when it comes to feedback, when it comes to sound, and it started early on with the Natural One pickups. They had a lot of bottom end. Then the Natural Two had a more MIDI thing for guitar players that played lead. So when, like for example, if you were playing with me lead, I have the bottom. You would want to be able to be heard through all that. So you would maybe use a Fishman Natural 2. And then they combined the Natural 1 and the 2 together to make the Fishman Infinity, the Matrix Infinity. And they've done different things. They've added microphones in there where you can have blended sound. For me, I would maybe use a blended sound with a real microphone in a studio, but I've never been a real fan of any pickup that has a blended microphone. They're nothing but, for me, a problem live when they start getting volume. And then people will say, I want it to sound more acoustic. I want that true acoustic. Well, when you're in a bar and everybody's trying to pick up girls and they're listening and enjoying the music and hooing and hawing and they're not really looking for a true acoustic sound. And the Fishman and the LR bags, the CNC, they do a good job of giving a fair production of a true acoustic sound, or true enough. If I was going to be doing a concert and people were going to actually be listening, I might want to use a microphone, not inside my guitar, so to speak. And some of them sound okay, but I'd want a sound guy that had a good set of ears and a nice microphone outside the guitar, or two that are X wide, whatever, the guys that know what they're doing. But that, I think Fishman for me is number one. I'm not saying anything bad about Bags or CNC or any of the others. And as far as effects, I use some reverb. Yeah, that's it. And
So
I've recently
go ahead.
I started using a TC Electronics, an XT, a GT XT2 or something like that. It's a very small processor that does harmonies, and it has a built-in reverb, and I loved it. And I was real picky about reverb, very picky. I don't like a lot of reverb, but I want it warm and very comfortable. And this one has a very good reverb, and it allows me to do everything I want to do with like one pedal. So I love it.
So the Infinity through a reverb, okay. So getting that big sound, obviously, we're looking at the PA system. We're looking at something that can handle those frequencies and do a little bit of boosting on the low end too.
Right.
So that's so many people try to what's that Boss octave pedal, people trying that, which adds a sub bass underneath there. There's a lot of different ones there, but so a lot of people try and sculpt a big acoustic sound ahead of time, and really that's, I think, where you're beating your head against the wall. I think I've had the pleasure of playing guitar with you many times, and that sound, you can't sculpt that ahead of time. That has to come from the speakers in the PA, how that's set up, I think.
I couldn't agree more. I tried that octaver in the beginning through a stereo guitar where I could run the 3 top bass strings through the octaver, and then the bottom 3 were through the PA. And I try, and my finger picking style is I play a bass line on top anyway. I try to, and I play with Rhonda and Gary, Gary's a drummer and I'm a guitar player, and there is no bass player. And
right.
So I tried that octaver for a while, and it is a huge bass sound, but you can't strum. If you strum, it gets real muddy, and that all goes to hell. So what I do is very simple. I do drop tune when I'm playing solo or with Gary and Rhonda. I try to play standard when I'm playing with a band, because I tend to piss off the bass player because I start playing a bass line, but I know piss Johnny off. But anyway, but what I do is very simple. I drop the top to a D, and then I boost you have your bass, your mid, and your high. I boost the bass to about 1 o'clock. I boost the highs to about 1 o'clock, and I back the mids off to about 11, 10 o'clock. And I've used that simple arrangement all these years, and it works for me.
Sound like Christopher Walken. We've known each other for 22, 3, 4 years. I think this is the most we've ever talked about anything like. Usually, this is how our conversations go. What key is it? D. Go. 1, 2, ready to go. That's all we've ever talked about. So I'm learning a ton here.
Well, I was watching one of these broadcasts when you invited me. Asked me if I'd like to do this in the future. I watched one of your episodes a week or so ago, and I just loved it. I mean, you have a way of doing things that's absolutely wonderful, and the way you explain even the simple things like, how long does it take to learn how to play the guitar, that kind of thing. And and I hear people talk about, and being in the music business, I hear electric players mainly that seem to be in search constantly in search for this sound, this something that they want, whether it's Eric Clapton's or Stevie Ray's or somebody's something. And I've watched you for so long get phenomenal tone, or Keith get phenomenal tone, and I can hand you a solid state piece of garbage,
Right.
and you'll get an amazing sound out of it. You'll sound just like Lee, and it's amazing. It's the hands. There's so much that goes into the hands and the attack, and yeah, you can use pedals and stuff, but still, on top of that, it's so much the attack, and it's that way on an acoustic as well too.
Well, thank you very much. And that's the whole thing. We talked about this last week. The whole thing is like, it's kind of like you're wanting it to be over, right? How long are we going to get? How long is it going to take me to get good? Right. It's like, I don't want this to be, take it easy. You know what I mean? You're good right now. You know, there's, and we talked about this the other day too. Have you ever heard a kid who just started to learn to play guitar and they play something and it sounds awesome? You know, it's not technically great, but the approach, you know, that a child has towards music is just as valid to me. I've been blown away just as much by someone who may not be proficient at the guitar, but they come to it in their own way, you know, and it's not a race. It's not trying to get better than somebody else. It's trying to get to yourself, you know. It's trying, how would I do that, you know? And if you listen to, we had one of the students has been learning John Mayer's stuff. He's picking apart all the different licks that John Mayer plays. And in his electric stuff, when you pick apart his licks, well, there's B.B. King and there's Eric Clapton. He doesn't hide it. You know, he's taking the notes from these people, but his approach to the way he changes the rhythms, the way he'll hang on a note where, you know, B.B. King wouldn't, you know, just even though he takes that style of music and basically takes it, but he's got his own sound underneath it all that makes it, you don't even think. It's almost the one we were looking at the other day is almost exactly a B.B. King lick. Like he just took it, but the way that he approaches it, you know, you'd never even think that. You think, well, that's his playing. So yeah, it's everybody just needs to slow down, play some guitar. You know what I mean? And just enjoy it. You know, life is short. This is fun.
Enjoy it. You know, you have to enjoy it. And when will I play? When will I get to play? You'll never really know when you start playing. You're not going to know. There's not a golden moment to go, bing, I'm playing. You know, it's just you always are improving. You never stop. I do things now that I didn't do before, even today, and you know, it's just wonderful to see that if you enjoy it. That's the whole thing, enjoying it. I mean, if you're not enjoying, I watch people, like, you want to see somebody that really enjoys it, watch Tommy Emmanuel. I mean, that guy. I mean, no one loves to play the guitar more than that man. I mean, he can have a whole conversation while he's doing stuff and talking to you and laughing and telling jokes and just loving every note that happens.
And he plays for 3 hours and then shakes everyone's hands, and he goes to his hotel room, and guess what he does? He plays more guitar. He practices, you know, so because he's doing what to me, that's the goal, you know, to just enjoy your time with the guitar. That's what it's for. So many people forget that. It's especially when you see frustrated people with the guitar, you know, and it can be in whether your band's not getting the gigs that you want, or, you know, you might have 20 people in the bar that you're playing. That's 20 people. You know what I mean? That those people need to have a good time, and you're fortunate enough to be the focus. You know, you take that, use that to your advantage. No, it may not be this enormous thing, but hey, man, that's music. You know, that's the good
Absolutely.
stuff. That's the good stuff.
Absolutely. It's golden. There are golden moments all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the whole thing, you know. I love to see people like our friend that's passed, Gary Sassaman. I
Yeah.
mean, he was hungry for it, and he
Right.
started later in life, and you know, and then he didn't, you know, he's not living now, but he enjoyed it and lived for it, you know, and because he started so late, you know, and
Yeah.
I mean, it was every moment was a golden moment with him, you
Yeah.
know, and that's how it should be.
Yeah. Yeah. I had been back and forth with him a lot. Um, he was always wanting to learn something, and we never actually got together on that. But he was a good guy. Good guy. Chris
Absolutely.
Chris says that resonates. It works for me. Over time, you find your own way, and I feel that is key in getting your own sound. And that's what he said, which is what Scott is saying. That's correct. That's correct. It's a journey, you know. I wish I had some recordings of stuff I did when I was, 14 or 15. I wish I had that. I wish could hear that again, because that would be special to me. That I maybe at the time I thought, oh, I suck. I can't do anything, or something. But who knows? Now have been a musician for all those years. I'm curious to see, well, what was I doing back then that stayed with me? What are those things that came from that period? There are things. I mean, how many times have you ever played a C chord there, Scott?
Once, I think I played the C once, maybe.
You ever
So
played a
many
gig?
times.
You ever played a gig you didn't play a C chord?
I don't think that's ever happened.
Yeah, I don't think I've ever played one gig where I didn't play a C chord. Right? Guess when I learned a C chord? 1982. That's when I learned a C chord. I'm still playing it.
Yep.
So what you're doing when you're first starting, that's it's not kid stuff. This isn't like throwaway busy things. Those open position chords that we have several people who are they get the chord, but then when you have to start playing chord progressions, and then you're coming in, bam, you're supposed to be on that next chord on one, and magically it doesn't happen. Right? You're still struggling to get the chord. Those things that you're working on in the beginning, you don't just do them to get to the next thing. Those are things that you use every time you play, and those are things that you learned in the very beginning. So I think that's special. I think that's one of the special things about the guitar, is it's not like school where I can't tell you what I learned in fourth grade or fifth grade. I don't know if I'm using any of it. Maybe addition and subtraction. Other than that, who knows? So it's a wonderful pastime, and I think, and it's why I know Scott and I both do this. Have you ever noticed, like, when the people that we surround ourselves are people who've had this same experience? Even if I'm not playing with all these different musicians, like in my life, even my mortgage guy is a musician. We're kind of attracted to the, where we gravitate towards people who understand this, that we're going
Absolutely.
through. So, we have Kevin asks, are we going to get to hear Scooter play something today? Do you happen to have your acoustic with you today?
Yes, I do, but we'll get to that. But
Okay.
I just had an email before this started, and a friend that is a musician as well. He said, Scott, on your next tape that you do for Facebook, do a Cat Stevens song, Where Do the Children Play? So before I signed on with you, I picked up a guitar just to see if I could muddle through that. So I may muddle through it, and mistakes and all here. But
Okay.
I was going to say, I've been blessed so much. And I guess you're the same. Almost everything that's good in my life and everyone I've ever met that means anything in my life, in one way or another, I can trace it in steps to music in
Right.
some kind of way. As far as getting as far as I have, wherever that is, I'm also blessed because I took a different road. People that play with me and have sat in with me know very well that if I'm doing a cover tune, it's not going to be anything like what I'm doing.
That's right.
I don't do that, and it's not because I try to be different. It's because I'm very limited. I have my style, I have my chords, I have my box that I've built, and it's gotten bigger over the years, but it's not gotten way bigger over the years. It's just gotten a little bit bigger, and I make the songs that I cover play my way. And if I can't hit this certain tune or chord that George Harrison did in this song, I don't worry about working that chord up. I do a different chord and I sing it different. So I make the and I'll get people like when you sit in with me, oh man, that was great. I had fun tonight, man. It was like playing a different song. I did Sweet Home Alabama and I didn't even know what I was playing, but it was a different song and I had fun. And then you'll have people, I've had people sit in with me and I'll be playing the same Sweet Home Alabama that people don't recognize till I get to the chorus, and they'll say, oh, that's not how that goes. So I mean, I've had it pretty good both ways, and it's all been a remarkable journey due to music, however you appreciate it and do it.
Well, we haven't had a whole lot of time to spend together lately. People have kids and I move around and all those kind of things. So I am very blessed to have had this time with you. And I don't throw that word around lightly. So very good friend of mine, and treasure every time we get together. And this is no exception. I learned a lot today. Let's see here. I wrote down, make sure we didn't miss anything. Let's see here. It was just PA stuff, and I think we talked about that. I don't know if it's worth going into the specifics of the PA things or not. Chris wants to know, where can we find and follow Scooter?
The easiest way, I guess, is to go to YouTube or Facebook and just type in Scott, Scott, Pallot, Pallot, and either way it'll take it to somewhere I'm at. I'm not real good at this web internet stuff, but I'm there. I have a presence there somewhere.
All right, so Scott Pallot on YouTube and Facebook, right?
Yes.
Yeah, that'll be fun. There's good stuff out there. The Facebook I've been keeping up with lately.
I've done, ever since this pandemic started, I go out to my garage, and I'm very much a people person. And a lot of players that I know have been doing these little shows at their house and in their garage where they'll do a little hour. But it's very hard for me to turn a camera on because I need to talk to people, and interact with people, and sometimes gets crazy. But so I've been recording one song after another, and I probably have a couple of albums of tunes that I've done since this pandemic started on Facebook under my videos. So and what the good part about it is, for example, this isn't a good part of it, but when John Prine passed, I did a few John Prine tunes, and I don't normally do his tunes, but I'd work them up, an hour before filming them, make mistakes, do whatever. I just wanted it to be real, like a real experience, not polished and in and out. And so I've done about, I don't know, 30, 40 songs since the pandemic.
Are they all up yet, or are you just
Yeah,
all of them up?
they're
Okay.
they're up on they're on. If you go on my Facebook and go into pictures and then hit albums and then hit videos, I think that's how you do it. Then it just there's a there's a bunch of them,
Awesome.
bunch of them.
Awesome. Could you play just a little bit of something for us?
Oh, yeah.
Just a little. I'd play along, but there's a delay, so I've just messed you up. I'm just going to listen.
It's not going to bother me. Well, I think it's fine building jumbo planes, taking a ride on a cosmic train. Switch on some from a slot machine. Get what you want, 'cause if you want, you can get anything. I know we've come a long way, changing day to day. Tell me, where do the children play? Hey, yeah. Where you roll on roads over fresh green grass, and for your lorry loads, pumping petrol gas. You can make them long, hell, you can make them tall. Yes, but they just go on and on till it seems that you can't get on. Whoa, I know we've come a long way, changing day to day. Tell me, where do the children play? Yeah. Children play. Yeah.
Very nice, very nice, very nice, very nice. That was very difficult for me to not pick the guitar up and start playing along and messing you up. So,
You should have. You should have.
that was cool. Thank you, Scott, man. You're the best.
Hey,
You're the best.
this has been most wonderful, my friend.
Yes, I think we should celebrate when we're done with massive worldwide diseases and celebrate with some Brazilian food.
I have some. I have some frigate rum, and I'm celebrating tonight with you right now.
That's
Cheers.
cheers. Here's the high quality
Good
H2O.
stuff. Good stuff. Ooh, smooth.
Very nice. Hey, well, it's almost 5 o'clock, right? Go for it. You know what I'm saying? That's
5 o'clock somewhere.
That's right. That's right. Well, you're gonna. Let's see here. Let's see what we've got here. We got lots of claps, lots of smiles. Scooter 1, Pest Zapper 0. I tried. I opened the. I won't get into why, but the gnats, the pest problem has slowly gone away because of some sort of neighbor issues that have been taken care of lately. And that's all I'm saying. So we got David, we got the metal symbol, we got thumbs up and some smileys. We've got Brennan's loving it. Dino's got the hand claps. And then Josh is here. Hey, Josh. Sounds good with the okay there. So awesome, man. Well, we're coming up on 5 o'clock. I appreciate it. It was a cool hour to spend with my buddy Scott. And what we're gonna do is we're just gonna hunker down and stay alive and healthy. And then when this is all clears, it's gonna be like a can you imagine?
It's gonna be wide open.
There's gonna be people in the street. Oh, it's going to be just amazing. What was the baby boomer generation? There'll be baby boomer generation 2. I have a feeling after this is over.
Well, I'm sending you and Lisa virtual hugs.
Okay. All right. There we go. And
I love you, brother.
love you too, man. And sorry that the Pest Zapper 2000 didn't do its thing. I'm glad
Maybe
it
next
didn't
time.
during your, I'm glad it didn't during your song though. Although that could have added. You never know. It depends on when it happened. It's all about the rhythm, right? So, all right, Scott. Well, thanks everybody for hanging out with us today. And if you're watching later, I know we have a lot of people that watch the show later on. Thanks for hanging out. If you have any questions or any comments, please leave it in the chat, and we will see you next. Actually, I'll see you tomorrow. We have the live podcast every Monday at 4:00. So we're going to be talking about hammer-ons and pull-offs. Fascinating stuff.
I do them all the time.
That's right. Hammer-ons, you can't, if you don't use them, man, you're missing half the game there. So
Hammer offs I did yesterday. Today I did plumbing.
Plumbing and hammer-offs, right? Awesome. Okay, everybody. Thanks for hanging out with us. We'll see you tomorrow.
Thank you all. Be safe.